First at 9 this Saturday, the 30th of November 2024. The dwindling deluge. Death toll from inclement weather rises to 17. Over 470,000 people affected. Maximum rainfall drops to 70.4 millimeters. Breathe easy. Sri Lanka's air quality reaches unhealthy levels, prompting concerns over respiratory difficulties. Authorities claim no cause for panic. Walk the walk. Opposition leader calls on the world to take decisive actions in support of Palestinian rights. Criticize the UN over double standards. The right reorganizing. Top SJB UNP politicians voice their concerns over the possible unification between the two parties.
Chino Dairy, Sri Lankawama Kiren Perata. Obe Vishwasi dinu Sensodyne, then Lagamati Pharmacy in Labagata Hacker.
Kanta parisang karagathot? Api parisang.
Asian Paints Causeway Aquasafe Vesat Mattu Gatharat Disney.
From Derana, this is Derana First at 9. Live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
Good evening and welcome to Derana First at 9. I'm Aditya Singh joining you live with the latest in Sri Lanka and around the world. Now taking you straight to your top story this evening, the Department of Meteorology forecasts that the influence of the atmospheric depression over the Bay of Bengal on Sri Lanka's weather will gradually subside over the next few days, reducing the incessant rains and gusty winds that prevailed island-wide. However, the number of people affected by the prevailing inclement weather has surpassed 479,000, with the death toll rising to 17 as of now. Meanwhile, the Department of Meteorology in India stated that heavy rains accompanied by strong gusty winds pounded several parts of northern Tamil Nadu and Pondicherry, with the cyclone Fengal entering India through the Tamil Nadu-Pondicherry coasts this evening.
Several parts of the country continue to remain severely affected due to the atmospheric depression over the southwestern area of the Bay of Bengal. However, the Department of Meteorology noted a reduction in the continuous rainfall observed during the past few days. Accordingly, the highest rainfall of 70.4 millimeters during the past 24 hours was recorded from the Galle district. The sluice gates of some major reservoirs continue to remain open to accommodate the high levels of water received by those reservoirs during the recent torrential rains. As the floodwaters gradually receded, the Colombo-Batticaloa main road, which was closed for several days due to the spillover of the Mahaveli River, was opened for light vehicular movement last afternoon. Meanwhile, the remains of another student who was reported missing in the aftermath of the fatal tractor accident in the flood-ridden Karaithiu, Ampara, was recovered today. The search and rescue operations conducted by the Navy and the police in the wake of the incident have so far led to the recovery of 8 bodies, which include the mortal remains of 2 students. The Department of Railways noted that efforts to remove mounds of earth and rocks obstructing the railway tracks in the Udwara and Halyal areas are still ongoing. As a result, the railway authorities confirmed that the train services between Badula and Alla will remain further suspended. Meanwhile, at least 20 residences in Anamadua of the Puttalam district remain inundated as a result of the incessant rains, which prompted heavy floods. The Department of Irrigation meanwhile stated that the flood warnings issued for several river basins concerning adverse weather patterns will be in effect for the next few hours. In its latest reports, the Disaster Management Centre stated that the death toll from the prevailing inclement weather has risen to 17 so far. The DMC noted that 479,871 persons belonging to 142,624 families across 24 districts remained affected due to the heavy rains which persisted during the past days.
මෙම පද්ධතියේ බලපෑම තවදුරටත් ඉවතට යන නිසා දිවයිනේ වැසි සහ සුළං තත්වයට සිදු කරන බලපෑම අඩු වෙමින් යාවි.
Taking the current weather patterns into account, the National Building Research Organisation issued warning level 2 amber landslide warnings to several areas in 8 districts today. Meanwhile, the Department of Meteorology in India stated that heavy rains accompanied by strong gusty winds pounded several parts of northern Tamil Nadu and Puducherry as the cyclone Fingal entered India through Tamil Nadu-Puducherry coasts as a cyclonic storm this afternoon, as a cyclonic storm this evening. As a result, the Regional Meteorological Centre issued red alerts for 7 districts, including Chennai, Tiruvallur and Kanchipuram districts today. Foreign media reported that in view of the cyclonic storm, measures have been taken to temporarily shut down several schools and universities as well as the Chennai airport.
Union Assurance.
Welcome to Cinnamon Life, South Asia's biggest entertainment hub, where awe awaits.
චන්දුරුසුනේ කාගෙන් මන අපේ සිංහ TV සඳහා සුපිරි ඩීල්.
Sadaharita Plantations Limited, celebrating 22 years of your trust.
In the wake of the recent uptick in inclement weather, Sri Lanka's air quality has also taken a hit, with the air quality index of several major cities registering slightly unhealthy levels, prompting respiratory difficulties. In certain regions, the AQI reached levels as high as 120 within the day, with fog-like conditions observed across the island. The director of the Environment Division of the National Building Research Organisation, Sarath Premasiri, attributed the current depletion in Sri Lanka's air quality to winds flowing from India towards Sri Lanka, carrying considerable amounts of air pollutants from India and regions close by.
In the wake of the torrential rains and gusty winds, Sri Lanka's air quality has depleted considerably. According to the National Building Research Organisation's Air Quality Studies Division, levels of the Air Quality Index or SLAQI ranging between 0 to 50 are considered favourable, while levels between 51 to 100 AQI are considered moderate. AQI levels between 101 and 150 are considered slightly unhealthy, while levels between 151 to 200 AQI are labelled very unhealthy. In the aftermath of the recent uptick in inclement weather, the AQI of several areas increased to over 101 both yesterday and today. According to the latest report of the NBRO, the AQI level in Colombo stood at 104 yesterday. However, today the AQI in Colombo was registered between 108 to 116. In the meantime, the AQI of Kalutara stands between 98 to 106. The report further shows that Jaffna, Galle and Polonnaruwa recorded the highest AQI today, ranging between 112 to 120. Considering overall values recorded, the NBRO noted that the AQI registered yesterday across several cities island-wide was at a slightly unhealthy level, while moderate levels were registered in Kurunagala, Kegalle, Nuwara, Ratnapura, Ambalapitiya, Puttalam, Mullaitivu, Kalutara and Anuradhapura yesterday. Authorities estimate that the official AQI levels today will be registered between 92 and 102, indicating slightly unhealthy levels in most urban areas due to the transboundary conditions moving across the northern region. The director of the Environment Division of the National Building Research Organisation commented on the causes and effects of this drastic depletion in air quality across Sri Lanka.
Due
to winds flowing from India towards Sri Lanka, a considerable amount of air pollutants in India and other close-by regions have been blown to Sri Lanka. This resulted in a drop in air quality in Sri Lanka. We assure you that people should not panic over the current situation. Day-to-day activities can be continued as usual. Those experiencing respiratory difficulties must seek medical advice. We advise you to wear face masks.
Fast track your career from O-levels with eSoft.
Diabetol, සීනි වලින් පරිස්සම් වන ඔබට අමතක නොවන පෝෂණය.
Prime Group, ලංකාවේ ප්‍රථම වතාවට හඳුන්වා දෙන land leasing, ලේසියෙන් මීටමක්.
Single 1111 up to 60% off from the 11th November to the 17th of November.
Kalani wire කිසිගින්නක් නැහැ.
කිසිගින්නක් නෑ. Kalani Fire Shield Wire.
As adverse weather across the island affects the people, Manusat Derana, in partnership with Dialogue, continued its efforts to support Sri Lankans affected by the ongoing inclement weather across the country. Manusat Derana and Dialogue distributed dry rations to people currently living in relief camps at Manakandal Tamil High School in the Mullaitivu district. With the support of the 59th Division of the Sri Lanka Army, commanded by Major General Nalin Hettiarachchi, Manusat Derana handed over dry rations to the Pudukkottai Regional Secretary. Meanwhile, dry rations were also handed over to relief camps in Kurukkal Pudukkulam, Vaunia. Manusat Derana seeks to build on its past relief efforts and provide relief to those affected by inclement weather patterns across the country in partnership with Dialogue. Now moving on to your political news, opposition leader Sajith Premadasa is of the view that unity transcending party affiliations, nationality, religion, class and other differences is necessary to ensure justice and fairness for the Palestinian people. Speaking at the United Nations Day for Solidarity with the Palestinian People conference, Premadasa emphasized the need for action over rhetoric. Further, the opposition leader called on world leaders to take decisive action against the bombing of civilian areas as the Israel-Hamas conflict escalates and to back their words with concrete measures.
The conference of United Nations Day for Solidarity with the Palestinian People was held last evening at the Lakshman Kadir Gamara Centre in Colombo. The event was graced by several government officials and opposition leader Sajith Premadasa.
We have observed terrorism, conflict, carnage, annihilation and catastrophe. Every minute, every second that we spend, lives are lost. My personal view is it's time to act. Time to walk the talk. Human rights, civic rights, political rights, economic rights, social rights, they are all enshrined in two major United Nations covenants. All for what? Only to be respected on behalf of the global north, simultaneously to be disrespected, discriminated and implemented in a detrimental manner, harmful to the global south. We cannot have division in implementing international covenants, conventions, customs. We have to ensure that non-discrimination, non-prejudicial acts become the norm rather than the exception. So we stand here today to support the Palestinian people. It has always been our contention that murder, mayhem, killings of people based on whatever reason has to be opposed, as the whole world vehemently opposed Hitler's Nazi Germany, annihilating the Jewish people through the gas chambers. In the aftermath, respect for humanity, for human beings, right to life, these precepts, these norms were accepted by the world. In such a context, no one has any right to annihilate the Palestinian people. The world has to act as one. The tremendous challenges that the Palestinian people are facing today are a threat to global security. We have to enhance global peace and security and a just solution to the Palestinian problem. Two states existing side by side, living in peace and harmony, would promote world peace, would promote international stability, and more important, this will protect lives.
Now, as the UNP and the SJB ponders unification, let's take a look at some of the latest political developments.
දැන් ජනතා විමුක්ති පෙරමුණ විදිහට හිටියානම් අදටත් ඔවුන් තාමත් 103 ඉන්නේ. ජනතා විමුක්ති පෙරමුණ මාලිමාව වෙච්ච නිසා තමයි ඒගොල්ලෝ රීබෑන්ඩ් වෙච්ච නිසා තමයි රටේ මිනිස්සුන්ව පිළිගත්තේ. ඔවුන්ගේ වේදිකාව හැම කෙනාටම එන්න පුළුවන් තැනක් බවට විවෘත කරා. ඔවුන්ගේ රතු පාටින් ඔවුන් දම් පාට වෙලා මාලිමාව කියලා අලුත් එකක් හදාගත්තා. මෙහෙනම් අපි උනත් මම හිතනවා වර්තමාන අපේ නායකතුමාට මම ඉස්සෙල්ලා කිව්වා වගේ පක්ෂය තුල ලොකු ප්‍රතිසංවිධානයක් වෙන්න ඕනේ. හොඳ අලුත් මුහුණු වලට මේ අවස්ථාව දෙන්න ඕනේ. නායකතුමා ඉන්නා වගේම යටින් තව නායකත්ව පරපුරක් හදන්නත් ඕනේ. අනිවාර්යෙන් විය යුතුයි.
කෙසේ හෝ ඒවා සජබේ සහ ගෑස් සිලින්ඩරේ තියෙන ජාතික ලැයිස්තු ප්‍රශ්න විසඳිලා ඊළඟට ඉක්මනට මේ පක්ෂ දෙක එකතු වෙන්න ඕන කියන එක තමයි මගේ නම් මතය. මම හිතනවා අපි කොන්දේසි දාගත්තොත් අපිට එකතු වෙන්න බෑ. ඉතින් අපිට පක්ෂ ව්‍යවස්ථාව උනත් වෙනස් කරගන්න පුළුවන්. මේ කණ්ඩායම් දෙකටම එකතු වෙන්න අවස්ථාව හදන්න. මම විශ්වාස කරන්නේ සජබේ එක්ස් ජාතික පක්ෂයේ අපි ප්‍රධාන පෙළේ නායකින් සියලු දෙනාම අඩියක් පස්සට අරගෙන මේ සංවාදය ගෙනහිල්ලා කොහොම හරි අපි පක්ෂ දෙක එකතු වෙලා අලිය ශක්තිමත් කරන්න ඕන කියන තැන තමයි ඉන්නේ.
අපි විශ්වාස කරනවා මේ දක්ෂිණාන්ත දේශපාලනය කරන කණ්ඩායම අපි ඔක්කොම එකතු වෙන්න ඕනේ. පෞද්ගලිකව එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂයේ පිරිසත් එක්ක සාකච්ඡා කරන්න පටන් අරගෙන තියෙනවා. මම හිතනවා අපි ඒක නිල වශයෙන් උත් කතා කරගෙන
එතන ගයක් තියෙනවනේ මේ කුලියට නැතුව හොඳ ගයක් තියෙනවනේ එතෙන්ට ගියොත් මොකද සිරිකොතට
නෑ ඉතින් රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ මැතිතුමා සජිත් ප්‍රේමදාස මැතිතුමාට එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂයේ නායකත්වය ලබා දෙන්න කටයුතු කරවොතින් අපිට ඒ ගැන හිතන්න පුළුවන්.
අපේ පක්ෂ ගිය අවුරුද්දේ සම්මත කරගත් අලුත් ව්‍යවස්ථාව අනුව එතුමාට අවුරුදු 6ක් තව ඉන්න පුළුවන්. නමුත් එතුමාගේ කැමැත්තෙන් යම් කිසි වෙනසකට එතුමා කැමති නම් අපිට එතෙන්ට අලුත් නායකත්වයක් ගන්න පුළුවන්. මිනිස්සු බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ සැබෑ වෙනසක්. අපේ දෙවෙනි පෙළට අවස්ථාවක් දැන් ලැබිය යුතුයි පක්ෂ ඉදිරි අනාගත වැඩපිළිවෙල හදන්න. ඉතින් ඒ නොකරොත් මීටත් වඩා පල්ලෙහාට බහිනවා. ඉතින් සජිත් ප්‍රේමදාස මැතිතුමාත් මම හිතන්නේ ඒ හා සමානව වැඩ කටයුත්තක් කළ යුතුයි. නැවතත් පක්ෂයට ඇවිල්ලා මේ පක්ෂයේ තිබෙන අනාගත වැඩපිළිවෙල ගැන අපේ නායකතුමාත් සමග සාකච්ඡා කරලා එකමුතුව යන්න.
දැන් ඉතින් අපිට පේනවා එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂය තුලත් යම් කණ්ඩායමක් ඉන්නවා තවම මේ එකතු වීමට විරුද්ධව වැඩ කරන කණ්ඩායමක්. ඉතින් ඒ කණ්ඩායම එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂය තුල බලවත්ව ඉඳින තාක්කල් ඒ එකතු වීමේ තිබෙන සම්භාවිතාවය ඊටාම අඩු මට්ටමක තියෙනවා. ඉතින් මං හිතනවා එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂයේ ඇතුලේ ඉන්න මේ එකතු වෙන්න ඕනේ කියන අය බලවත් වුණොත් මේ වැඩේ වෙයි.
And now shifting focus to some economic developments, the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation announced the revision of its fuel prices with effect from midnight tonight. Accordingly, the price of petrol 92 octane will be reduced by 2 rupees to 309 rupees per litre, while a litre of kerosene will be retailed at 188 rupees following a price increase of 5 rupees. The price of auto diesel will be increased by 3 rupees to be sold at 286 rupees. However, the prices of petrol 95 octane and super diesel will remain unchanged. Meanwhile, the Lanka Indian Oil Corporation have also decided to revise its fuel prices in line with the prices of the state-owned oil company. Meanwhile, the domestic gas suppliers claim that the lack of gas supplies being distributed by Lafs Gas PLC since September this year has led to the persisting shortage of gas supplies in the local market. The Minister of Trade and Commerce, Food Security and Cooperative Development, Vasantha Samarasinghe, claims that the government has given its attention to the matter and that it will take a decision in that regard soon. Meanwhile, the CEO of Lafs Gas PLC, Dr. Niroshan J. Piris, claims that the supply disruptions caused by inclement weather was behind the depletion of Lafs gas stocks reaching the market. Now, in a bid to bridge the gap between academia and the demands of the media industry, Moga Media Academy inaugurated a range of industry-driven diploma programs to enhance the careers in the animation industry. Moga Media Academy will be introducing 5 internationally curated diploma programs: VFX animation, concept art, game development and modeling and texturing for the first time in our country.
Particularly within the media and technology industries, the demand for skilled professionals capable of maneuvering the complexities of the digital landscape is more pressuring than ever. At the forefront of addressing this need is Moga Media Academy, an institution dedicated to transforming the country's media industry through innovative education. In a bid to shape the careers in the animation industry, Moga Media Academy held the registration for the first batch of students at Moga Media Academy, located in Serum Place, Colombo 10 today. The first batch, comprising 30 attendees, enrolled for animation and game development diploma courses. Moga Media Academy offers the opportunity to study 1-year diploma courses in animation, game development, VFX, concept art, modeling and texturing. Students will be guided by an internationally qualified faculty, providing an education tailored to the demands of the global market.
මම හිතන්නේ අද සුවිශේෂී දවසක් Moga Media Academy එකේ අපිට විතරක් නෙමෙයි මුළු ලංකාවේ ඇනිමේෂන් ඉන්ඩස්ට්‍රි එකටම. ඉතින් අපි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා තවත් ඉන්ටේක් එකක් තියන්න. ඕගලන්ටත් පුළුවන් අපිත් එක්ක සම්බන්ධ වෙන්න අපේ ඊළඟ පදවා ගැනීමට.
The next intake will be enrolled in January next year. More information in that regard can be obtained through the website www.mogaacademy.lk as well as by contacting 011 728 8300.
And now let's take a look at some local news across the island in brief.
The Deputy Minister of Agriculture and Livestock, Namal Karunaratne, claims that the government has agreed to provide compensation of 40,000 rupees per acre for 6 types of crops destroyed in the recent uptick in adverse weather. However, several stakeholder groups have criticized the government's move and have suggested that the government must conduct a proper assessment of the sustained crop damage. Due to the widespread outbreak of African swine fever, authorities have pointed out several dangers in pork production within the Paduka and Kosgama veterinary jurisdictions. Meanwhile, swine herders voiced their grievances and raised concerns regarding the crisis looming over the industry. They also urged the government to prepare a mechanism to compensate those farmers aggrieved by the outbreak of the African swine flu. In other local news, a lieutenant commander attached to the Punava naval base was attacked by a wild elephant found roaming in the vicinity of the base last night. The officer, who was admitted to the Vaunia hospital for treatment, later succumbed to his injuries. The victim was a 41-year-old resident of Nittambua.
Now, in your international business news, financial officer of India's Adani Group rejected US allegations that executives, including Chairman Gautam Adani, were part of a $265 million bribery scheme, while the Indian government said it has not received any US request on the matter. The US authorities accused Adani, one of the world's richest men, his nephew and executive director Sagar Adani, and the managing director of Adani Green, Vineet S. Jain, of being a part of a scheme to pay bribes amounting to $265 million to secure Indian solar power supply contracts.
Speaking to media on the sidelines of an event in Mumbai, Adani Group CFO Jugeshinder Singh said the company rejects all of the allegations strongly on behalf of the individuals. Singh said they know for sure that nothing of this sort happened and added that if they were paying that amount of cash to someone, he would certainly know. The Ports to Power conglomerate has previously denied the charges made earlier this month as baseless and vowed to seek all possible legal recourse. Singh said that the group would not be taking any action on the US indictment, but that the accused individuals would clarify on the allegations over the next 10 days after seeking legal advice. Singh also sought to allay concerns about any impact from the allegations to the group's expansion plans. He said that no planned acquisition will be on hold and nothing will impact the investment plans in logistics and energy. Meanwhile, the Indian External Affairs Ministry, in the country's first official reaction to Adani's indictment, said yesterday that bribery allegations against the billionaire was a legal issue between private companies and the US Department of Justice, and that New Delhi has not received any request on the case from Washington.
And now some corporate news in brief.
Global apparel tech conglomerate Mars and the United Nations Population Fund recently signed a memorandum of understanding marking the beginning of a year-long collaboration aimed at supporting women's health and reproductive health. The MOU consolidated a shared vision between Mars and UNFPA to increase investment into women's health and well-being, and also seeks to empower and encourage women and girls in the apparel sector to speak up and for corporates to create safe public spaces. Through the partnership, both organizations will work together to upgrade medical centers, conduct awareness programs, and establish wellness facilities in BOI zones accessible to employees of the apparel sector. In the meantime, H&B plc recently announced their partnership with the All Boys Union of St. Joseph's College Colombo 10 and its Jayala, Wattala branches to launch an exclusive affinity credit card for its members. Custom made for members of the All Boys Union of SJC, the customized affinity card offers a wide range of exclusive benefits and promotional deals across the bank's broad portfolio of merchant partners. The partnership will offer members access to exclusive benefits across H&B's extensive merchant partner network. In other corporate news, the Colombo Stock Exchange warned 5 companies of impending trading suspensions due to regulatory non-compliance. thereby Odell PLC, SoftLogic Capital PLC, Standard Capital PLC, SoftLogic Holdings PLC, and Blue Diamonds Jewelry Worldwide PLC are required to submit their overdue annual reports for the financial year ending March 31st, 2024 before the 6th of December this year. According to the CSE Listing Rule 7.5E, failure to comply with the requirements will result in trading suspensions from the 10th of December 2024.
And with that, we wrap up tonight's edition of Ada Derana First at 9. Stay in touch with us on www.adaderana.lk for the latest developments around the clock. Thank you. Have a great night.
For news and information you can trust 24 hours a day, visit adaderana.lk.